All right, folks, another Friday in the life of the world. Welcome. It's January 15, a very big date in our country. I'm Citizen Jones. Now, today on the program, Presidency lists achievement of military as Nigeria marks 2021 Armed Forces and Remembrance Day. I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, BKO, who would have wished to be in the army, right, wrong?
Yes, if not for my belly.
Yeah, okay.
It's this belly that got in the way.
And maybe your height.
No, there are short
No worry. Okay. Okay.
If you want me to mention names of short people in the army, I'll mention them.
There are shorter people than you in the army, so
yes.
That's the punchline for me.
Because I'll mention their names.
All right. Ola Yinka Oyegbile. Yinka, you made it to 2021. The last time I saw
yes,
you
I made it to 2021.
Yeah, good.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, good to see you.
It's a great thing.
Yeah. Could have been better or could have been worse.
Exactly. But we believe that 2021 will be better.
We must do something.
Definitely.
Okay, the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, we'll go straight to business. Just to let you know, today we are discussing the Nigerian military and the Nigerian Federation. You know, January 15 commemorates two striking events in our checkered history. The day, aptly labeled the Armed Forces and Remembrance Day, honors with solemnity the servicemen of the Nigerian Armed Forces and veterans of the First and Second World Wars, as well as the Nigerian Civil War. Well, like every institution, the Nigerian Armed Forces had and still has its hiccups and demanding situations. Perhaps a damaging sore point in its evolution was the January 15, 1966 military coup led by 5 majors. Its shoddy execution more than damaged what was left of the camaraderie enjoyed by the rank and file. Thankfully, though, today, the armed forces have more than picked up the pieces of our broken dreams and dashed hopes. On the providential point of view, another Armed Forces and Remembrance Day is here, so we salute our gallant men and women who gave up their freedom just so you and I may be eternally free. Okay then. Jide, at the time of the war, I was a mere 16-year-old. I know you were much younger. Did anything strike you at the time?
At the time? I cannot recollect what I didn't witness.
Okay.
Except what I was told.
No, if you can't recollect.
What I didn't witness, I cannot recollect.
Yinka will help us here. Yinka, you saw a little bit.
Well, I would say yes.
Okay.
I was 7 years old.
Okay.
I was born in the north. I grew up in the north. The first thing that struck us was that we grew up in a city, Jos Plateau specifically.
Okay.
It was like another kind of Lagos because you have people from all over the country coming. And at some point, we just saw that some certain set of people were moving en masse. And we started asking questions. What's going on? What's going on? They said they were Igbos. As of that time, we knew that they were speaking some language which we don't understand because our first language was either Yoruba. For me, it was Yoruba, Hausa, and English. So, and at a point, there were people who owned houses because it has always been like that the Igbo people will own houses. They own very mighty houses. I remember a lot of them. And at the time they were leaving, they left the houses in care of either Yoruba, Hausa, or whatever other people, you know. And it was something strange to us. We, as small children, we were asking, you go to school, where is Chuku? They say Chuku has traveled. Where is Angelina? Angelina don't travel. So, but at some point, we never saw policemen, but in the night, we never saw military men. But one thing we knew, or I can clearly remember, was that in the night, you see a lot of aircraft flying, and they now say that you must put off the lights. Then you begin to wonder what was going on. It was later on we heard that there was war, and as a 7-year-old child.
First.
Okay, okay. I thought we were, the coup.
Yeah.
That one, I can't recollect very clearly whether I knew it was a coup.
Okay, you're talking about the gathering storm before the shooting was started.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was something. Everybody was saying, the only thing we had at one point, we had that they killed the people. And it now began to ask who was killed. They said the prime minister. As of that time, I never knew who a prime minister was. And so it was just, we were not able to play as we used to play.
Yinka, as they say, memory is very unkind to an old man, because looking back. Yeah, Jide, now let's go to the remote cause. The coup, there's still the debate till tomorrow. Was it necessary? Was it avoidable or not? But that's neither here nor there. It was shoddily handled. That's why the hiccups started.
Yes. Whatever was the intention of the coupists, I think they failed themselves in terms of the execution. If you felt that the Nigerian leaders at that time were too corrupt and you saw yourself as a new broom, then that new broom must sweep all the dirt away.
Yeah. So you have a clean slate.
A clean slate. Wipe that slate clean. And leave no doubt of your
intention,
of your
mission,
even-handedness.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, that is what they didn't do well, or to some people they didn't even do at all. So, if the political leaders of a region had not been terribly punished in the event of that coup, if this thing had been wholesale, because what we saw was both the political and military leaders of a region, they bore the
two regions.
They bore the brunt.
Two of the four.
Two of the four. Yeah, they bore the brunt of the whole thing, and then people started asking questions. Why should this happen? How come these two big leaders from this part of the country, from that zone, how come
they were spared?
They were spared. What happened? How did they escape? No questions were asked. And to a lot of people, 6 years is not even enough to build a nation. We had just gained independence, and 6 years after, you are already slaughtering people on account of misgovernance and all that. If we were to allow the sort of thing that they did at that time to happen now, only God knows how many of our leaders will have been slaughtered. Because when you even look back at what the first generation of Nigerian leaders did, their achievements are still there. They were very visionary. They were forward-thinking, and they had achievements to show.
Which we can still see today.
Most of them are enduring.
Yes, enduring legacies. Sardauna, Awolowo, you can say all kinds of things about them. One governor stood up the other day and was calling them tribalists and all that. Inwardly, most Nigerians are tribalists, although some people will pretend that they are not. But in the inner recesses of their hearts, they are even worse than the people that they are condemning. But those guys did a very good job. And even when we are talking about corruption at that time, we are talking about 10%. Today is up to 75%.
if not 80 or
Yes,
80.
in some cases, money gets released and everything gets eaten up.
Yeah.
So, I think that mistakes were made.
Yeah.
If you read Unzeogu's speech, Unzeogu's speech, you will say, yes, this was a revolutionary. But the execution of the coup itself naturally led to the counter coup. Led to the counter coup.
6 months after.
And after that, so many other coups happened.
Gentlemen, we have time to tear the bag, but then let's look at the essence of today, January 15, Armed Forces and Remembrance Day. So you're looking at the essence of the day.
Yeah, it is a very good thing that we are doing. The essence, most especially, remember the Nigerian Civil War ended officially on the 15th of January.
1970.
So that is why it was shifted that, look, we have been doing the World War thing before.
It used to be known as the 11-11.
But now, since we had our own experience close to us at home, that would be more relevant to us than doing the 11-11. The essence of it is to remember, because those who sacrificed their lives, many Nigerian military men sacrificed their life to make Nigeria what it is today. No matter what you have against the military, you will always accept that they did their best. Their best at that time, the military was the place where there's no ethnicity, there's no religion, there's no anything. Every one of them, they were one. So they sacrificed all this and made Nigeria to be what it is today. Some people...
Sorry, just by on your screen, you see the color. The precision and...
In fact, I also believe that now the precision is not even as it used to be when we were young.
Yeah.
For some of us who are sickly, who couldn't have aspired to be military men, it was something of agony for us, because the way they dress, the way they move, and the command structure.
You hardly saw a soldier on the street.
That is what I
before the whole bubble burst.
Exactly. But now, okay, when we talk of the essence of the remembrance, it is to celebrate those people who sacrificed for the country.
Selfless men and women.
Not the carpetbaggers.
Oh, yeah.
Who later came on and began to turn the military into something of no more value. In those days, you cannot be driving a commercial vehicle and put any military insignia.
Oh, yeah.
But today, what do we see?
Oh, yeah, all sorts.
Even senior officers, they drive past, they see a Danfo driver wearing it, whether it's a military man serving or retired. You have desecrated that institution by wearing a military cap or shirt or fatigue or whatever and driving a commercial bus. And such one will even come down when you hit their car and they will bring up. So
thank you, Yinka. Brings us. We'll come back there.
Yes.
Brings us to the second point of respect, culture of respect for military and veterans in Nigeria generally, Jide.
Yes, and I think we really need to build on that. We see Americans show tremendous respect to their servicemen. We don't do that enough here. Although our servicemen too need to turn a new leaf. A situation in which somebody, because he passed through the Nigerian Army Depot in Zaria, begins to feel that the civilian is inferior to him. Look at some of those videos of some ill-bred young women, young girls, who just came out of the army, threatening to beat up civilians. I said, oh, so is this the culture now?
Yeah.
Is this what you are taught at depot? That once you come out, the civilian is inferior to you, that at the slightest provocation, you start slapping people, you start using your belt on people.
After you call him bloody.
Yeah, but a lot of them don't even know the meaning of bloody. Because the truth is, they will earn more respect when some of these aberrant behaviors, like Yinka has talked about, are expunged from their their day-to-day lives. When the people can see that these soldiers respect them, they will earn a lot more respect. I'm not saying that no one respects them now. For example, I was in, I think, Yobe State some years back, and soldiers queued up. They wanted to get into the bank. You know, I expected people to give way so that those soldiers will go in first.
Yeah.
You know?
Like you would do to the elderly.
That is what the Americans will do.
Yeah.
They will accord them that full respect.
Yeah.
Because they know these ones are fighting for them. These are our heroes. It's a privilege to even see them.
Yeah.
So at the slightest opportunity, we want to show that we appreciate them. Being the heroes that they are. People who leave all that they've got behind and simply go and work for us so that we can stay alive. We need to show a lot more respect. We are not doing that enough. So, and I remember too that I saw a group of soldiers in a restaurant. So I asked the woman, I said, I hope you've not taken money from them. They had been in the bush. They just had the opportunity to come out and then eat. After that, they'll go back into the bush to go and secure the area so that Boko Haram does not find a way to come into the city. And I told the woman, I said, please don't take money from these people. No matter how many they are, I'm going to pay. And they were very excited. They were very excited. A lot of them knew me. Usually what I do when I see soldiers sometimes, if they don't recognize me, I just look in one direction so that they will not know that it's me, you know. But immediately, I saw that, it just dawned on me that, look, these people, you need to pay for their meal. And I did that. And they were very happy. We shook hands, we took pictures together, and then I felt satisfied that
after all, they are also citizens of the country.
Yeah. The fact that they stay awake so that you can sleep. The fact that they put their lives on the line means that you have to also demonstrate your appreciation. And that was my own way of appreciating them. We need to respect them, but the culture of discipline in the army has to be sustained. In fact, has to be improved, because we can see signs that some people who have no business joining the army found their way into the army. Maybe because they couldn't find any other job to do. There are many never-do-wells now who are either the police or in the army. But that culture of discipline has to be brought back so that when we have that, and a lot of the negative stories that we read about the army, brutalizing people, beating up women, when those things come down drastically or are expunged from their day-to-day behaviors, you will see that a lot more people will be proud of the army and of the armed forces, and they will show it.
So we can say, let's add this line now, the Chief of Army Staff has owe us this. It's a two-way street. All right, Yinka, let's role of the Nigerian Armed Forces in national unity. I'm looking at the Gowon years now. 66 to 75.
Yes.
Honestly, when you look back, you think that is the golden era of the military, as far as I'm concerned. The first time I came to Lagos was in the 80s.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I've always been living in the north. I know every part of the north, but this way. So in the 80s when I came...
Maybe I'll leave you there.
No, I came on a visit. It was not that I came to settle in Lagos in the 80s. I only came in the 90s. But when I came in the 80s, and I traveled, I moved around Lagos everywhere. I saw everything. I said, who did this? He said, General Gowon. Who did that?
That's him.
General Gowon. Who did that?
That's him. He was a fine gentleman.
Yeah. And you now find out that despite the time, Nigeria had money, He was quoted at one time to say that Nigeria has money, don't know what
Yinka,
to
he
do
has
with
not
it.
refuted it, but go ahead.
So, but honestly, when you look at it, you might say that, okay, he said it, but he didn't lose his sense.
Yeah.
He did so much for the country that today, is there any company, is there any house or a mansion or something that you can trace to say that this is Gowon's? No. Are there people close to him who you can say that they benefited from him? No.
Rather, I can talk about...
no houses abroad.
No houses abroad.
Rather, I can talk about the Eco Bridge.
So now...
Which is still there.
Exactly.
New Qatar Bridge.
You now begin to ask yourself, the man, as of that time, he joined the army with a secondary school certificate.
Yeah.
And that time we used to have national development, they call it every 5 years. What has happened to it?
Inka, but let me...
No, he was, you know, so we just, because he was talking about what they've done to unite us.
Yes.
You know that the idea of the unity schools was supposed to help us to achieve integration.
This integration.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
The idea of the NYC, the idea of the unity school. So, because the NYC scheme was, or is what makes a lot of Nigerians to even know their country.
Yeah.
You know, for many people, they had never been to the north.
It was the first, I was born in the north. I know the south. It was the first thing that took me to the east.
Yes.
It was. In fact, they wanted me to change it. I said, no, I've never been to the east. And let me go and experience it.
Old East. The old East.
Yes, and that's why that acronym, when people came up with their own full meaning of Gowon and turned it into an acronym, it was very apt.
Go on with one Nigeria.
Go on with one Nigeria, because the military, every time, even beyond Gowon, every time that we came close to having total bedlam in our country, the military will step in and stop the rot. The coup of 1983, for example, what happened? The elections were rigged, massively rigged, and we had Adewusi's kill and go. Their own job was to ensure that, look, if you try to resist rigging, you could be killed.
Yeah, wow.
You remember how the election in Oyo State was rigged. And I still remember the rhetorical questions that Bola Ige was asking in that speech, in that address to the people of Oyo State at that time. Yes, where he said, how can Modakeke, a ward, have the population of Ibadan, Ibarakpa? How can Modakeke, a ward, have the population of Ife, Ijesha? And he went on like that. The orator, I was, you know,
that it was.
You know?
Cicero,
he then, you know, that there was a poem that he wrote that he then recited there. If I stoop in a dark, tremendous sea of cloud, I press God's lamp close to my chest. Soon shall disperse.
You know, you've got the message.
You know,
you've got the
when
message.
I listened, I said, this man is just too much. But he wanted people to know that he had not given up on God.
On God, yeah.
That was the essence of that poem. That if I stood in a dark, tremendous sea of cloud, I press God's lamp close to my chest. Then the other message. Do you remember the old Ondo?
Yes.
That is Ajashi and Omobode. So it was not a surprise to me. It was not a surprise to me that that coup happened.
Yeah.
And when you look back, frankly, you can say all kinds of things about the military.
Yeah.
They have done a lot to hold us together as a country and to secure us. Because, frankly, some of these hiccups, some of these crises that politicians bring upon the land, if we didn't have the military, would have been different. Look at Maitasine, for example, in Kano.
In Kano.
It took at that time, the commanding officer was General Yerima Yohana Kure.
Okay,
and the officer, the officer who led the operation where Metasine was killed was Haliru Akilu.
Yeah,
the
who later
same one.
became
Yes, who became
Director, DMI.
Yes, Buhari, I mean,
Babangida's,
Babangida's #1 spy master.
Yeah.
He was the one who led the operation. If you go to Kano, some parts of Kano City, you still see bullet holes till today.
Wow. Really?
Because Maitasine was causing trouble all over the place.
Yeah.
And the police could not bring him under control.
Anything, yeah.
They had killed people in Adamawa, killed people in different places. But the army stepped in and put an end to the nonsense that Maitasine. That was in 1980.
It's their day today. We are going to go on this break. Come back and continue. January 15, on my mind, on your mind. Please stay. All right, welcome back. January 15, Armed Forces and Remembrance Day. Let's do a little something. Might be nostalgic, or maybe not. On January 12, then General Gowon received the instrument of surrender for, by the Biafran officials. This is how the speech went. Please watch on.
The so-called rising sun of Biafra is set forever. It will be a great disservice for anyone to continue to use the word Biafra to refer to any part of the East Central state of Nigeria. The tragic chapter of violence is just ended. We are at the dawn of national reconciliation. Once again, we have an opportunity to build a new nation. You will have heard that my government may seek the assistance of friendly foreign governments and bodies, especially in the provision of equipment to supplement our national effort. There are, however, a number of foreign governments and organizations whose so-called assistance will not be welcome. These are the governments and organizations which...
This is very clear.
rebel resistance. They did not act out of love for humanity. Their purpose was to disintegrate Nigeria and Africa and impose their will on us.
General Yakubu Gowon, back in January of 1970. Inca, one poignant question now at this point is, what lessons would you say we have learned from the war, the avoidable war?
Honestly, I'm not very sure I can pinpoint that we have learned anything. Because everything we do today still points to the fact that we have not learned anything. Yeah. And the problem, I think, rests squarely with our education system.
And we have not unlearned anything either.
Because today, I expect that by now, one, our history departments, if there are still any, would teach history of the Nigerian Civil War. Our literature department would teach literature of Nigerian Civil War, especially
it was an event.
I mean, but we today, you ask many people, those who are, whether they are from the southeast or southwest and everywhere, calling for war, baying for war and everything, when you ask them, they know nothing about the Nigerian Civil War.
Oh, yeah.
So, for us, that we have not been able to make an education of this important aspect of the Nigerian life, it calls for a concern. And I think the education curriculum need to be changed. We need to make people, because as they say, if you don't learn from history, you are bound to make the mistake.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So history is not a thing that we should throw away like that, especially the Civil War history. We need to learn. Now Nigeria is looking for engineers, we are looking for scientists and all that. How was it that the Southeast during the Civil War were able to refine crude oil? They were able to manufacture that bomb of Ogbunigwe. I mean, there are so many things that have been done.
Yinka,
so what has happened to all that?
Urine was used in aviation.
So what has happened to all that? Is it the texture of the urine then that has changed, or that we don't know what we are doing?
Judy, Professor Chinua Achebe, bless his soul, wrote, "There was a country."
A country.
There was a country.
Yes. I get the message that the late academic tried to get across to Nigerians, that even the culture of excellence we've simply brushed aside. We have become a nation of anything goes.
As General Ali Ibrahim once said.
Yes, you know, that's the message. And even the things that caused the Civil War, some of them are still being done at this time. So we have to be careful as a nation, because I don't think we can succeed a second Civil War. We just have to learn the tensions between the dominant tribes in our country.
This is one of the fallouts of the Wahala, the people moving, the exodus.
Look at.
Yeah.
Yes, now when there is no peace, when you are not sure that you won't be killed.
When Biafrans were sending people to Sao Tome, you remember, the Gabonese plane came here to take...
So the truth is, some of there had always been disunity right from the years leading to independence. We had never really been one country. But the first coup was sentence.
Yeah.
And I will not say that we have learned our lessons.
Anything.
I do not see this a sign that we have learned, because things are still being done today that are capable of setting the country ablaze. It's just the grace of God and the determination of some Nigerians too, that look, whatever happens, we will remain an indivisible nation.
Yeah.
And we've got to give credit.
See that?
Yes,
children scrambling for
now.
food and so on.
You know,
this is one of the fallouts of war.
These are the reasons why.
Must watch this.
These are the reasons why people should be scared of war, because when war breaks out,
look at
this is what you see.
What is the portion they are giving them? It's not even enough to fill the 5-year-old.
You may get it today and not get it tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's why we had children who are Kwashiorkor and all that. So our politicians and our leaders need to sit down and do their best to unite our nation, because they inherited one nation. So they must not, by their actions, cause us to...
Or inactions,
cause us to become a divided nation. People's lives were put on the line so that we can remain one indivisible nation. We would have let down our heroes if by our actions we cause another civil war.
In that speech by Gowon, which we saw a while back, he said many of them went into this struggle not because they loved it.
Yeah.
Yes, people were conscripted.
Yeah.
People were forced.
Like
the people of Akwa Ibom, today's Akwa Ibom, today's Cross River, a lot of them fought on the side of Biafra. Against their wish.
Yeah.
So he was right, because people were forced to join the war and all that.
The late Kensaruwa wrote a lot about that in his memoir, The Darkling Plain.
On the Darkling Plain.
How people were constricted and made to fight a war they didn't understand nor want to fight.
Let's bring some sunshine here. We can look back with relish and say the armed forces of Nigeria actually achieved so much in the area of infrastructure.
Oh,
Let's go there now.
The military regimes.
Yeah, the military regime specifically.
honestly, if you look at Nigeria today, just as I was saying the other time about Gowon, you find out that most of the enduring legacies that we have today were done by the military men. Go to Kano, it's the same thing. Go to Plateau, go to the east, everywhere.
Yinka, can you imagine, imagine the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway under the military enduring for 20 years?
And see what has been, now we have civilians there. We have been doing it for how many years now?
Democracy.
Well, democracy, well.
They are civilians.
It didn't take Obasanjo that long to finish it.
As a military man. So now, the question now is, what exactly went wrong? I think that's where we should continue to look
The interrogation.
For me, I think what the military in Nigeria did is equivalent of what the Gabriel Abdel Nasser of the Egypt did what he did for Egypt. The only problem we had was that our own, at that point, was the carpetbaggers were more than the patriots among them.
That's it.
For the 8 years Gowon spent as the head of state, it was not the civil people or the civil populace that rose against him.
It was
the military.
Comrades.
Exactly. So people...
they wanted him to hand over. They wanted him to leave.
And
they were not convinced about
this
that he was prepared to leave.
Of course, you remember he postponed his terminal date.
That is right. Yes. That was what. And having stayed that long, you should be thinking of letting the civilians come back to power.
You think he was turning fufu?
I don't know what.
You be son of an old man, a big man. When you turn fufu, it means just they go round and round.
Go round and round in circles.
It's a long time, 66 to 75. That's a long time. And the military are not supposed to be in politics.
Oh yeah.
You know, but the truth is, when you taste power.
But there was an exigency, a void. The military said it meant to fill it.
Yes,
fill
the war ended. The war ended 1970.
And 8 years.
And after 1970, you are still there for 5 years.
Yeah.
So you can't blame them. But you see, when you sit back and you see some of what you were able to achieve, and some of the plans that you had, because a lot of what Obasanjo eventually now completed, it was Gowon Muritala administration that actually initiated. So he must have been thinking, oh, let me see if I can hang on a little bit so that I can finish this one.
Okay.
Government is a continuum. If you do not finish, someone else will finish it.
But so, can we go there? Since this is our hangout.
Yes.
I hear many civilians were instrumental in provoking coups. Right, wrong? We have heard it.
Yeah, we've had it, but
nobody can.
But nobody will say that some of those coups at the time were not necessary. For example, given what happened in 1983, even the counter coup of 1966, it's difficult to say that one did not expect it to happen.
It was waiting.
Yes, you know. So, yes, civilians have their friends in the military, and sometimes when their friends gain power, they also benefit. There are things that we cannot say here, but we have seen a civilian in our country who even went as far as some African countries to plant leaders. You know, but we can't talk about that here. So this is the thing. But going back to what
No, Jide, just a minute. Hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
I had a reason for raising that.
Okay.
Just the other day, Yinka and Jide, Chief of Army Staff begged his colleagues, his officers, don't listen to these politicians. They come to me, do this, do that.
He has always said that. I didn't know
But
take me.
you wave it away.
I can recall that he has said that some civilians are trying to plan a coup.
Yes.
These days, it is difficult to plan, if not impossible to plan a coup. In those days when, you had one central radio station central TV station, it's so easy.
It's so,
But if you want to plan a coup now,
you go do like this.
it's not, how do you do it? How do you achieve unanimity? The military itself, and even the ethnic divide in our country will make it difficult for a coup to succeed. So, and when he said that, it was challenged by the civilian leaders that mentioned.
It's more like saying name and shame.
Yes, and then people have asked, what have you done? If you know that, okay, this thing, have you made arrest? So this is the thing. I don't even like to hear those things, but the truth is, the soldiers who have ruled our country, they've done very well from Obasanjo.
Very well, honestly.
And I did some work.
Give me Kainji Dam.
I've done quite some work on that. Look at Gawan, Muritala, the National Stadium, Kata Bridge.
Yeah.
They also initiated the major ports and airports.
Yeah.
1004 was built by Muritala.
Yes.
The Trade Fair Complex by Obasanjo, the Festac Housing Estate. He also completed Tinkan and Apapa Port. The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway was completed by Obasanjo. And he made major investments.
The first time.
Yes. Like the National Shipping Line, he made investment.
Nigeria Airways.
Yes, Nigeria Airways, the loan. The biggest loan we took at that time was meant to buy modern aircraft for the Nigerian Airways. And Nigerian Airways became the pride of our continent. I've said it before that even Ethiopia Airlines used to come and do their C-check here at the Nigerian Airways hangar here. So it was a great airline.
Talk about the glory years.
Yes. And I'm saying, look, then talking about even IBB. IBB stayed longer than Abacha and Abdul Salami, but he was one finished the third mainland bridge. People will remember. Then he signed the decree to relocate the federal capital to Abuja. He built the International Conference Center in Abuja. Then with the efforts of his government, Nikon, Noga at that time, then the federal secretariat at the phase 1. Abacha came and completed the phase 2. IBB also built Aso Rock and it has remained like that. Fantastic work. Then the road network, I'm talking about major roads, not the arteries. It was IBB that built then the airport road, Kubwa, all of those, then the NNPC towers. Then the Port Harcourt refinery too. It was also
second refinery.
You see, when we talk about Obasanjo, people accuse him of using the instrument of government through a decree to snatch people's lands. That's the Land Use Act.
Okay.
But it was a visionary decision that he took. Just that people will not understand why he had to take it. Let me give just 2 examples. If you are familiar with Kaduna.
And I'm not.
Jaji, the whole of that military complex, right up to the Air Force, right up to the Gachiku. If you were to take that land from a community,
how much are you going to pay?
Do you know how many years you'll be in court? And the kind of compensation that you will pay. The same thing with the airport here. We also have the Air Force base close to the airport. That huge expanse of land. In today's world, if you were to take that because you want to cite an infrastructure there, how would you have done it? So even the progress that they made in the area of infrastructure was assisted by that decision. Is to take some of those decisions. But we needed to do it. Would Abacha have been able to build the biggest single housing estate in Africa, the Gwarimpa in Abuja, if not for this kind of thing. Because people will come out to say, this is our land. No, you have to give this to us. This is our land and all that. So they did a very, very good work. And I think Abacha also built the National Hospital.
Yeah.
And
in Abuja. Yeah.
It was Abacha that created the value-added tax, from which at least we are making money now. You know, so many things these guys did, and then of course the National Liquefied Natural Gas, because he was the one who paid the final. I mean, he made the final investment decision. You know, at that time, that LNG is earning us so much money today
in foreign exchange.
In foreign exchange, because it's like is partly owned by the government and some corporate concerns. So, which is what I suggested that we should do with NNPC. Remember, Obasanjo actually came up with NNPC.
Yeah.
It used to be Nigerian Oil Company. You know? So they've done. We can abuse the military, say all kinds of things about them, but when we look back, the National Stadium,
Abuja,
where Yakubu Mambo scored the first goal, 1973.
Okay.
It was Gawan now.
In
In 1973, it hosted the All African Games.
In 73,
Yes. When we look back, these guys have done tremendously for their country, and the place of the military in the affairs of our nation
can't be wished away.
No one can do that.
Yinka, but mine is any military regime that comes is, quote unquote, a corrective one. How corrective have they been, if we sum it up?
Well, there is a school of thought that believes that a government goes thinking that a better one will succeed it, but you have the one that succeeds is usually worse than the one that is there. But be that as it may, I had this argument about the role of the military and the civilian some other time. And the question that was asked was, Nigeria will be 61 this year. If you look at the number of years the military have ruled, is more than
collectively, yeah.
That was what the argument, the fellow I was involved with, I had to bring in that, well, if you say they have done so much, it could perhaps have been that they've stayed much longer than the civilians. Or
they stay so long and not do...
Come on.
But honestly, it is not an apology for the military. The military could have done better. In fact, when you look at some of the things that those who have been in the military themselves have said, a clear instance is General Chris Ali, a former chief of army staff. He wrote a book which is Federal Republic of Nigerian Army.
Oh, come on.
Now, if you read that book,
the imagery itself.
Exactly that. Look, the Nigerian army that he joined was not the same army that
he left.
It has become politicized.
It has become something else.
Pause there. Now, because of time constraints, let's record that there have been 4 successful coups, 5 unsuccessful ones. So we can quickly leap through it. The 66 coup in 1966, you had two coups, and then you had 83.
No, we had 75. That's 75.
No, that's a failed coup. No,
75 was the one that
75
that.
Okay, 75. Okay,
that was what that brought
that's it.
Muritala. 75.
Then you had
83. We had 76. Dimka coup failed. Then we had 83 that brought Buhari as head of state. He succeeded. Then we had the 85 palace coup, bloodless. No, can we even say bloodless because someone died? Bako died.
Yeah.
So what palace coup is what to call it?
Yes.
85 palace coup. Then 86 Vasa.
Coup,
you know. which many people believe was not really a coup, was a phantom coup.
Obasanjo, Yaradua,
that was 1995. 1990, we had 1990, the bloody Oka coup, you know. Then the 1993
another, the we call them palace coup.
Yes, it was a coup. Because Shodekan was the head of state.
Yes,
it was a coup.
In intellectual capacity,
coup too.
He had just returned from the UN.
That's Chris Ali, right?
No.
Okay. No, not the one before.
He had just returned from the UN, and he said the Nigerian democracy was on an irreversible path, only for him to be forced to resign. So that was a coup as well. And then the 1995 phantom coup, Obasanjo Yaradua.
Yeah.
All that was the one that killed the military.
The coups destroyed
the fabric of
damage to the credibility of the army.
Yeah.
And
killed the spirit.
And it showed how politicized the army was. That the army was just a microcosm of the society. Now, as we round up, a lot of officers have been sacrificing, putting their lives on the line. We have also lost some officers in the to the insurgency in the Northeast. And because this is a day that we have chosen to honor the armed forces, we are going to run through some officers, names of some officers that their men have held them high as heroes of the current insurgency war. Major General Adeosun, Major General Irabo, Major General Victor Ezugu. He actually designed an armored vehicle recently.
That vehicle we talked about the other day,
he designed one similar to that. Major General Yusuf, GOC, 7th Division. Major General A.G. Laka. Lieutenant Colonel P.K. Kwakshebe. Brigadier General A.G. Nura. Brigadier General D.C. Bako, late. Lieutenant Colonel Micah, fantastic officer. Lieutenant Colonel Manga, very courageous officer. The late Lieutenant Colonel Abu Ali, the Tank Task Force commander, that was killed in the Borno North, Abadan. Major General Akezwa, Captain Hassan, the operation officer for Damboa, is dead too now. May God bless his soul. Lieutenant Colonel Omoba, Lieutenant Colonel Umar, CO 202 Brigade. Major Undubisi, Super Camp 1 Commander. Major General Adeni, Theater Commander. Lieutenant Colonel Sule, 151 Battalion. Major H.A. Mohammed, 27-2 Task Force. Lieutenant Colonel T.G. Ajato. Lieutenant Colonel Wuye. Major Balogun, CO 123 Special Forces Battalion, Bako.
And God bless
Chief
all
of
the
Army Staff
himself,
who is the leader
of the team,
who is the conductor of the orchestra.
General God
Tokur
bless
Yusuf Burate. We bless you. We pray for you.
God will bless the souls of those officers whose names we cannot readily. But that will be just it. We stand by our gallant men and women, wish them well. God bless their souls. Yinka, you know, and Jide, in the words of the late British Prime Minister, he said, let me quote it. He said, never in the history of human endeavor was so much owed by so many to so little. Biko, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy your weekend.
God bless our troops.
God bless our troops.
God bless Nigeria.
Yinka, many thanks for your time. Our job is done. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now.